Hey, thanks for joining. You did it. Nice job. Introducing our project management trainer, speaker, author, and coach to thousands of professionals and organizations worldwide, including NASA, the U.S. Air Force, USACE, U.S. Army, the Department of Transportation, the FBI. Your friend, Phil. Over to you, Phil.
Hello, my friends. How you doing today? I hope you're doing awesome. I made this announcement a few minutes back that I was going to have a touch point because tomorrow I'm training the folks at Fort Lee, the U.S. Army, and some other personnel from other companies. So I will be unable to touch base with you tomorrow. So I wanted to do it tonight. So how are you? I hope you're doing awesome. And I hope your PMP exam prep is coming along well. How was your week as a PM? Did you have a great week as a project manager? You know, the job of the project manager is putting out fires, putting out lots of fires. And in order to put out fires, you need to have your firefighting gear. And you know, the PMI and the PMBOK guide, they give us an inkling into what this firefighting gear really is. It's the ability to effectively communicate, to effectively connect, and to ensure that you are at your peak performance. Because project managers need to make split-second decisions on a lot of projects. Project managers need to be in front of people, in front of stakeholders. And in order to really capture the stakeholders' interest, keep them engaged, get what you need from stakeholders, give them what you need to be in that zone. And in order to be in the zone, you need to have a clear head. So being a project manager is not an easy feat. So I feel your pain. Those of you who feel, Phil, I've had a rough week. I'm not ready to study right now. I totally get it. Totally understand. So anyway, chat into me. Perhaps something happened in your regular job that you want me to weigh in on from a project management perspective. I'll be more than happy to do that. So if you got any questions for me, things that you would like me to talk about, I'll be more than happy to do so. So tonight, I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 tricks to getting back on the horse and defeating Pimpy. Lokesh, how are you? Lokesh, please remind me, because every now and again, I see folks from like way back in those days when people were getting ready for the PMP exam based on the 5th edition. I have flashbacks from some of my students. So are you the Lokesh that I worked with back then to get in ship shape for the exam? I should know this, but I don't. So tell me, are you the same Lokesh? But tonight we're going to talk about how to get back on the horse. You know, should I be honest and tell you my experience? My experience started off very, very low energy. Very low energy towards getting certified. I started off with a bang, you know, like the Energizer Bunny. And then after about 2 weeks of studying, you know what it is, this. After about 2 weeks of studying the PMBOK guide, you know what happened to me? I kind of started to flake out. Energy started to dissipate. I didn't have enough energy to go around. Speaking of energy, one of my coaches has indoctrinated me into the world of this. You know what this is. Probably I needed a whole canister, a whole carton rather, of these to be able to function as I should. But that wasn't the problem. The reason why I lost energy as I was getting ready for the PMP exam was I had a defeatist mindset. I felt defeated, folks. I felt like, how am I going to cover this thing? Look at how big this book is. I'm not getting anywhere with it. It's ridiculous. It's making me scratch my head. It's making me doubt myself. So I started getting discouraged. And those of you studying right now, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you open a chapter like chapter 11, and you look at chapter 11, 7 massive processes that you need to digest. It's very easy to be discouraged when you look at the PMBOK guy. You're like, my goodness, how am I ever going to take this exam? But as it is for any exam, one tip, and I'm going to share these tips with you, so let me open up my PowerPoint and begin to share some of these tips with you, okay? I see we've got a couple of friends who have chatted in. Let's see. Mayor, the mayor of the PMP. He's here. How you doing? I got your message. I'm going to begin to call you Mayor. That's how I'm going to pronounce your name, because you're the PMP mayor who brought it and delivered and killed Pimpy. Pimpy, that imp. Those of you who don't know Pimpy, he's this creature in the mugshot. That one that you can see on the screen, that's Pimpy. Pimpy the PMP exam. He's the embodiment of the exam. I like giving you guys a visual so that as you're getting ready for the exam, you remember. But Mayor, he killed the PMP exam. He got 5 above targets. 5 above targets. If I could, I would share his screenshot of the screenshot he sent me. I probably need to get permission from you, Mayor. So anyway, eventually I will share that. But Mayor is one of our regulars on these shows that stays tuned and listens to his buddy Phil. So now he's a PMP with 5 above targets and he's getting ready for the RMP. So Mayor, I got your email. Don't worry, we'll work something out. I know the dollar is a little bit, on the heavy end when you compare it to your currency. Don't worry, we'll figure something out so that you can get tooled up and loaded, locked and loaded for the RMP exam. But anyway, going back to my story of when I was getting ready for the exam, I felt very, very defeated after getting to about chapter 3. Before I made the transition into chapter 4, I have to be honest with you folks, I felt like giving up because I couldn't make head or tail out of what the PMI was saying. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what are they really trying to tell me in these chapters? It wasn't until I realized the same way you say Rome wasn't built in a day, your PMBOK guide awareness, for those of you who don't know, this is the PMBOK guide. It's called the PMBOK guide, PMBOK, the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide. The awareness of this, folks, it doesn't come in a day. So you're going to have to spend time letting it marinate. When you really let it marinate and sink in, it takes time. Okay? The problem with a lot of prep camps, and I've heard from a lot of students that get so discouraged, I should say boot camps. The problem with a lot of these boot camps is people go in there expecting a quick fix. Hit the microwave button, bing, out comes the PMP. Oh, I got certified in 5 days. And bogus stuff like that. No. You gotta let it sink in. However long that's gonna be. For some people it might be a week. For other people it might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month, or more. But the bottom line is you need to give yourself time. We're all different in our studying approach, in our ability to absorb. I've taught a few students who tell me, Phil, I've had to contact the PMI. There's no way I can do this in 4 hours. I've got acute ADD, and yes, I'm smart and all that, but when I'm in front of an exam screen, I have issues. So I need 8 hours, Phil. And other students say, Phil, I have dyslexia, I cannot focus. Did I just pronounce that the wrong way? Oxymoron. But some students say, Phil, there's something wrong and I need 8 hours. And they take 8 hours and they pass the exam. There was a student of mine out of the UK and he was given 8 hours because he had acute ADD and he killed the exam. He did awesome. But he needed more than the regular 4 hours. And that's okay. The PMI will give you that leeway once you provide medical records to back up whatever you tell them. But the bottom line, what I'm really trying to tell you is people are different. Just because Mayor killed the exam in, how long did you take before you did it? Was it 1 month, 2 months? You've been on the journey for a while. Anyway, but let's say he did it in 3 months. Just because he did it in 3 months doesn't mean Phil needs to say, because Mayor did it in 3 months, I can. No. We are all different, and you need to gauge and pace yourself. It's like in life, you see people on the highway to success, the freeway to success, and you're like, my goodness, I wish I were them. No, you don't. No, you shouldn't. Because your journey and your approach to accomplishment may be very different. What would have happened if Einstein said, look at all my mates, they're 3 years old and 4 years old, and they're speaking complete sentences and having dialogue with adults, and I can't even speak a word. What happened when he became 5 years old? Boom! Incredible brain power kicked in. Or perhaps it had been there all the while. He just felt he didn't have to speak until something wasn't right with his meal, and then he spoke one day at 5. You see, in the same token, your abilities to ignite the light, they're there. But don't get frustrated trying to eat the whole PMBOK guide in one sitting. That is not what I want you to do. I want you to let it crock-pot, let it marinate, okay? So I'm going to share, like I said, a few slides with you to get you into that zone of understanding that you can absolutely do it. So my first point is be willing to act now. Be willing to act now. That is the first thing that you need to do. You need to be willing to act now. So, as I'm sharing this stuff with you, don't just listen. Be willing to act. Tell yourself, I'm going to take action on what Phil is telling me. I'm going to get up and I'm going to start tomorrow on these things. So the willingness to act on what I'm telling you comes first. Be willing to act now. Okay? So that's the first slide. Let me see if I can bring it up on the actual screen. That would be helpful if it could actually show what I'm sharing. Be willing to act now. It seems like Pimpy has brought out the gremlins of PowerPoint to kind of mess around here because it is not displaying as it should. Let me see if I can fix that here. 1 second. One moment. Okay. Now I'm on a beach somewhere. Don't you love that? I'm on a beach. Isn't it fun when you do these live presentations? Stuff just happens that you didn't bargain for. But we are going to get this right so people can see my points. So, willingness for action. I'll just talk about this while I'm fixing this here. But willingness to act is evidenced by you tomorrow waking up and saying, I have a date with my PMP prep. Okay? So I want you to visualize, wherever you will eventually study, I want you to begin thinking about where you are actually going to do it. Where are you going to study tomorrow? Don't tell me, oh, I'm going to study at home, because lots of you, studying at home really doesn't do much. Studying at home is not the best thing for you. All right, there we go. So you can see the slides, finally. Yeah, stuff happens when you're live that you didn't bargain for. So there we go. All right, boom, those are the slides. So be willing to act now. And you can see at the bottom there, it says, do things to propel your desire, like going somewhere to study. For me, being at home was a barrier. So in order to let your desire to act now match up with reality, You got to go somewhere that you can actually put in the time and the effort. So I say be willing to act now. That's the very first tip. Okay? Now, anyone who chats into me right now, like before 11, what's the time now? It's 11:28 Eastern. Oh, I beg your pardon, 11:18 Eastern. Chat into me before 11:28 Eastern. And I'm going to make available an MP3 I shared on one of our Savage on Saturday calls that will give you tips and tricks about how to study the PMBOK guide. I made it available for people on that call, but perhaps you were not on that call. I want to make that MP3 available to you for free. But you have to chat in before 11:28 EST on the 19th of October. Can you do that? You'll find that MP3 to be very helpful. So chat into me right now and just let me know you're on the call. For people like Maya, you probably don't need that because you're already a PMP, right? So you don't need Phil giving you additional content to read and study. You're already a PMP. All right. So if you're on the call, you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're getting ready for the PMP exam, chat in so I can send you a little something something, because I will send you that MP3. All right, so that is tip number 1. Be willing to act now. Tip number 2. Bite-sized chunks. Agile is your friend. So be willing to act. Tomorrow morning, get out from the bed. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., I don't know, whatever. I am going to be out of my bed at 5 a.m. in the morning because I have a meeting with the folks at Fort Lee from the U.S. Army and other companies. And I'm going to be training the course. But 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm out of my bed. You can do the same. I'm not saying wake up at 5, but you can wake up early. Go to your office. Go to your local library. Someone says, Phil, it's not open till 10. Okay. Go to a Starbucks. Okay. Can you at least go through some stuff there? Put on your headphones, noise cancellation devices. Put on your noise cancellation headset. Study, guys. You got to be aggressive. You got to meet fire for fire. You got to meet resistance with opposition. Aggression. Aren't you fed up of the monkey on your back? Aren't you fed up with this creature making life a misery for you? You're pretty much lugging him around all day long, carrying him around on your shoulder. Aren't you fed up? You should be. You should be. No, they shouldn't. Oh, keep quiet, Pimpy. Go to the corner. Miserable. Okay, so don't listen to him. You should meet aggression. Resistance, be aggressive, okay? And be intentional. 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And decide, I'm going to put in 4 quality hours. Put your phone on silent. And just do it, guys. Do it. You should be fed up of this. You should be. Like one of my students who did this 8 times. And he said, I am fed up, sick and tired of being sick and tired of the PMP exam. And he did it. Boom! PMP. He's living the life now. The other day he called me, he said, Phil, I've got someone for you to train. That's what I'm talking about. You know, so you get to a point where you get so fed up of being on the never-ending treadmill of PMP prayer. Okay? And I need you guys to meet resistance with aggression. If your mind and your body are saying, don't get up, sleep more, play more, you got to meet that with some aggression. Like me, I did the same thing. For me, it was, Phil, you're not ready to take the exam. It's that little gremlin on your shoulder. You know, that little gremlin will say, Phil, I don't think you're ready to do this thing. Why don't you put it off some more? Until I met resistance with aggression. And I said, Phil, you are taking the exam on this date. Some of you just have to give yourself a date. Okay, but that's a different topic. So bite-sized chunks. What do I mean by bite-sized chunks? Maybe 2 processes a day, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe a knowledge area if you can. But if you can't go that hard in a day, I want to recommend to you that you just take it easy on yourself, okay? Take it easy on yourself. So bite-sized chunks. What do I mean by Agile is your friend? By Agile is your friend, speaking of which, I have some friends on the call. Robin Benson, hey, send an email to support@praizion.com. You get that, Robin? Support@praizion.com. We're going to get you that MP3. I appreciate you chatting in, okay? Let this MP3 be a catalyst to take you to that next level, for you to become laser focused, like the eagle, for you to be able to hone in on the stuff that you need to. All right, why don't you send that email, Robin, right now? It's 11:24 EST. So anyone else, AJ Walker, how you doing? Hey, send that email to support@praizion.com. For those of you just coming on the call, I told those folks who are the early birds who are going to catch the worm, I told them, send me an MP3. What am I saying? Send me an email. support@praizion.com, and I will send you the MP3. Hey, but if you could send me an MP3 recommending Phil after you get PMP certified, I'll take it. I'll take that MP3 any day. Hey, those of you who are out there and you're PMPs and I helped you get certified, I expect an MP4 recommending me, recommending Praizion and the team of folks who trained you. Whether it was me on my own or whether it was me and someone else, me and Pat, me and Emily, whoever it was, I expect an MP4 saying, this dude helped me. Can you do that for me? Whether I did it via YouTube or you were in one of my classes in person, hey, you're going to keep hearing Phil saying, please send me the MP4. One of my bosses actually did this, and you can find his video. His video is right there on the channel. He bossed up and he provided video of how he got certified. He actually made a video on his drive back from the test center. So you guys who are certified, you want to put in 2 cents for your friend Phil, I am always taking donations of goodwill, MP4s. Hey, the offering basket's open. Drop something in there. Drop a word in for your friend Phil. Or go to LinkedIn and just say something good. Share it on social media. That's what I'm talking about. Very little effort. Just go on your social media and say, hey, this dude helped me get certified, so on and so forth. I will appreciate it. All right? So AJ Walker and Robin, I'm looking forward to your emails, and I think you'll find this MP3 to be extremely valuable. All right. So I was talking about bite-sized chunks, and I said Agile is your friend. So Agile, what do I mean by Agile is your friend? Have you guys read about Scrum? Use a product backlog. Does the product backlog demand that your sprint backlog should be a mirror of it? Of course not. Your sprint backlog is a cutout of a tiny little piece of your product backlog. And that's why Scrum is an Agile flavor. Because you're not, we're going to do everything. We're going to plan everything right now. No. You got an overarching plan. You got a release plan. But then you're going to begin to segment each piece of work that needs to be done. You're going to do your scoring or your assessment of how big, your sizing of how big each of those components is. A lot of people trying to do the entire product backlog when it comes to this. You're trying to map out the entire backlog. How can you do that? Do you know the reality of getting ready for the PMP exam? It's all about burn up and burn down. So there's a whole dollop of stuff that needs to be burnt down. First of all, as a newbie to the world of the PMP and the PMBOK, you do not know the full gamut of the burn down. You've got an idea, but you don't know the full thing. You know how you begin to realize what it is when you then get into it. And you're now slicing and dicing the PMBOK guide. You realize, my goodness, there's no way risk can take me 1 hour. No way it can take me 2 hours to study. Risk is going to take me a total of nothing less than 8 hours to prepare for the final exam. And I'm talking about reading the chapter 11 again and again, taking quizzes again and again, talking to colleagues, talking to the instructor, being in the classroom, 8 hours minimum. Now, I'm not saying it should or it does. It could, or maybe it takes you 16 hours or 30 hours, I don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the discovery of how long it's going to take you is going to come from your awareness of the chapter. Mayer says, Agile is really our friend. As I got only one question, that is hilarious. Thank you, Robin. That is hilarious. And I've heard all sorts of things on media. I've heard people that got more than one. But I'm saying Agile is your friend, not necessarily because it's on the exam, but you need to use an Agile mindset as you're studying to first of all be open-minded to the fact that you do not know how long it's going to take you to read this entire thing. And secondly, you don't know enough about scoring knowledge areas. And when I say scoring or sizing, I'm talking about how many hours, how long, what effort, what intensity, what resources. You don't really know that. But as you begin to get into it, folks, in bite-sized chunks, prepare in like a sprint mindset. Okay, this week, this is all I'm going to do. And find out if you can truly cover your target. If you cannot, then you might want to do a little resizing of processes. And you're going to get better at resizing your processes to know this week there's no way I'm going to be able to cover this. I'm only going to cover a quarter of what I originally thought. And that's okay, but at least you've got a plan. And you're being agile. You're being adaptive. You are adapting to discovery. You are adapting to whatever is going on in your life, you know. So being agile, and agile is your friend in this respect, is you preparing using an agile mindset. Okay, so plan to do a bunch of things, but then at the end, during your retrospective, you're going to go back and say, did I pull off last week well? No. What went wrong? I tried to study at the wrong time. Some people trying to study at their worst hour of the day. Don't do that. You want to study at your best hour of the day. For people like me, I can do anything at any time. Not anything harmful. That sounds a little bit shady. I can do anything at any time. Oh, really? Tell me. Don't let me go there. I'll leave that to the folks on SNL, the Matt Damons of this world. I'll leave it to them. But seriously speaking, I work around the clock, and at any point in time, I can study. It's like I can turn it on or off. But there are some times of the day where I am more productive. I find that early morning, like if I'm awake at 4, I'm going to be on a roll between 4 and 8. And then when it gets to 9, 10, it could be a tough hour. My least productive hours in terms of brain power, probably around 12 noon. I find that a very hard, very difficult period, especially if I've just gotten a whipping in my workout. So if I've just finished my workout, my coach has I've gone for a workout, then I have trouble if I've just done a workout. If I've just gone the full gamut of working out my physique, then I have trouble, staying awake. As evidenced this afternoon, I just got done with a brutal workout. Do you ever think some coaches are sadists, some fitness. Anyway, that's a different story. But my least productive hours are in the early part of the afternoon, because I find myself tapering off into either sleep or just not being fully focused. Then again, towards the evening, maybe around, has to be around 9ish. Like now, right now I'm in my element. This is my zone. And I could go on for another 5 hours like this without a break, without needing to take one of these. I could. So what am I saying? Know your limits, folks. You got to know your limits. You got to know when am I best studying and when am I at my worst study time. Don't study during your worst periods. Have you ever been at a table trying to read this thing and you're there, but you're not? It's like you're looking at the book, but the real Phil has checked out. Has that ever happened to you? Oh, it's happened to me numerous times. And then you have to recall the real Phil. Phil, come back. What did you just read on that page? No idea, blank. Guys, what I'm saying, it sounds humorous, but I'm so serious. Study at your best, okay? Now, what happens if you're unable to be productive studying at your best? Make do with the worst, but look for a workaround. Good project manager, workaround. What is a workaround? Do you know? Chat in to me if you know what a workaround is. I'm curious to know if you guys remember from, I don't know, maybe your class covered this or not, but the word workaround is a true word from the world of the PMI. Risk management. Now, I don't think you're going to find it in the 6th edition because it has been stripped from the 6th, but that doesn't mean you can't find it on the exam. What is a workaround? Someone chat into me. So, the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, if you have no option but to study during your worst period because that's the only time you've got availability, you need to make it comfortable for you. Okay? You need to make it habitable for you to stay there, study, and gain something from it. Okay? For some people, it's caffeine. I don't have shares in this company anyway, but for some people, it's that. For some people, it is location, location, location. Maybe being in a park and not being behind the 4 walls is going to help you. Like Justin, one of our champs out of TJU last week during the Savage on Saturday, what did he share? He shared with us the most lucrative place that he found to study. It wasn't in his office. It wasn't at home. The most productive place that helped him on his big run-up was the subway. Can you imagine that? Studying on the subway, but he was able to get value from it. He was able to work on things around him, perhaps get into the zone where he's not distracted, and I need to ask him more questions about that. But he was able to get into the zone where he honed in on his studying, and he used his commute to work, to study. How do you do that? You got to condition the environment and make it better for you. So I don't know, caffeine, I'm not saying go on a coffee binge, but whatever you need to do to eliminate the problems in your least productive hours, just do it. Maybe it's location, maybe you're just tired, plain tired. You know, maybe having a shower will help, or maybe dousing water on your head. I almost said your brain, because that's what it felt like when I was in the Prometric Test Center in one of my exams. I can't remember which one. I've taken so many PMI exams. But I'm in one of these exams and my brain has gone to boiling point. What did I do? I went to the restroom, doused a bunch of water on my head till I was soaked. And when I was done, it's as if I was a new person. I went back in and mowed the ridiculous exam down, whichever exam that was. Because I've taken about 6 PMI exams, all sorts, RMP, SP, ACP, CAPM, PMP, OPM3, which was like 2-in-1. But I realized that if I can get myself to feel better, even though it's not my most productive time, it helps me. So I've shared a whole bunch of things with you guys, a whole bunch of things in the past number of minutes regarding being agile and bite-sized chunks. All right? Being agile and bite-sized chunks. I see some chat from our friend. Hey, my buddy Renee, how you doing? What's up? Hey, are you like mowing down this stuff and ready to get certified in the next couple of days? Renee says avoiding risk. That's okay. Avoiding risk, trying to look for alternatives, not identifying risks and planning for it. Workaround. Very good, Renee. So what Renee is saying in essence is a workaround is looking for alternatives to a risk that has occurred and that you didn't plan for. It's responding in some way, or I should say it is a response to a risk that was not perceived at the time you identified risks, or a solution to a risk that you have identified didn't work, and then you're looking for a new solution. Okay, so thank you very much for chatting in. Ishit, how you doing? Ishit says, thanks for the audiobook, What to Do After the PMP. Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and thanks for chatting in, man. Thanks for staying tuned to the channel. And just so you know, I am working on some stuff, some really, really awesome, powerful stuff with a friend, colleague of mine who is into self-improvement, people improvement. So you guys who are PMPs, I'm going to bring her on the show, Lauren. She's going to be on the show hopefully in the next few weeks. And we're going to be helping you PMs, all of you, whether you're getting certified for the exam or not. We're going to be helping you get from where you are now to where you want to go, whatever that is like. I don't know if you've heard of NLP or you've watched Tony Robbins. You might be familiar with that topic. But we're going to be bringing you a series of programs around the area of NLP and improving yourself so that when you're in front of your stakeholders, you're going to do even better. So Ishit and Maya, and in fact all of you, because you're all PMPs or PMPs to be, or PMs, right? You're going to find this stuff useful. So how do you ensure that you're at your peak performance when you're in front of your stakeholders, customers, so on? So thank you very much, Ishit, for that. The train is working, said Renee. Awesome. I'm glad the train is working for you. For me, like the underground, as we call it in the UK, I studied for 3 major exams from ProSoft, who many people probably don't know about. But if you're into the world of web, back there in the early 2000s, you probably know about the Certified Internet Webmaster. I did 3 courses, CIW courses. That was like one of the big deals back in the day, when the web, back in the days of Front Page and goodness gracious, Navigator, AOL. Yeah, so CIW was big. But I actually studied for my CIW on the underground. And I mean, I had all of my thick books. They were almost as thick as this. But I would take them out and I would highlight, and that's how I got stuff done on the underground. So it's absolutely doable. But anyway, bite-sized chunks, folks. I think I've beaten this one to death now. You know, bite-sized chunks, and Agile is your friend. All right, break it down, go easy, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Some people trying to eat that entire thing all at once. You're trying to eat. I hate using that term now because the PETA people, they don't like it. So if you have people from PETA in your organization, you may not want to ask the question, how do you eat an E? And the answer is a bite at a time. I don't think that's a good analogy anymore. Like killing 2, whatever sound they make with a stone. Those are not good analogies anymore. You know, the world of PETA is taking over the analogies we can use. one of my buddies was saying a few days ago that the word brainstorm is now offensive. Go figure. Anyway, that's a totally different topic. But anyway, bite-sized chunks and Agile is your friend. Okay? Bite-sized chunks and Agile is your friend. Let's take a look at the third one. Get help. Now, don't joke about this. I'm not talking about help in that regard. But I mean, get support. Get support. One of our students, I don't know if you watched the video about how to study for the PMP exam, but Curtis, one of our students, he was on one of our calls with another student of ours, Shri. And if you're in the group on Facebook, you've probably seen Shri chatting some stuff. But Shri and Curtis are now working together to defeat that creature over there, Pimpy. You need help, whether it's from a colleague, whether it's from a trainer or coach, whether it's the accountability factor, whatever it is. Seriously, get help. Get help from a study buddy, and then get help from any of the sources you're using for your PMP prep. I would have loved you to use our materials, our learning system, our mock exams, because they're the best. They really are, truly. If you gave me an option of having 100 mock exams free from the online world of Google versus the Praizion, I'll choose the Praizion any day. There's 3 mock exams, but those mock exams, that is quality over quantity. And when we talk about quality, we're talking about the predictability. Our mock exams are so ridiculously predictable. I mean, predictable in the sense of if you pass one of our mocks on your first try, it's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. It's like advance to the Prometric Test Center because you're going to kill it. But a lot of the other mock exams out there, they are so unpredictable. Someone gets a 90, woo, they pass the exam. Someone gets a 95, they fail the exam. What good is that? That's not quality. So when we talk about the repeatable aspects of a mock, the Praizion mocks are very repeatable. Those of you who are a little bit keen on knowing more, I'll just say check out the website. Go to praizion.com. That's the website up there. Check it out, and you can check out the 3 mock exams we've got. Okay, and I need to talk about these things because too many students doing the wrong thing. Okay, they're not getting support, and they're thinking they can do it all on their own. They're not even getting help from their buddies studying for the exam. They're like, yeah, I can do it. I'm smart. It has no bearing with being smart. It has bearing with being sensible to get help. To get help. If the likes of Jack Welch could say, I need someone to mentor me on the web. Because when he became the CEO of GD, he realized he was challenged, a little bit challenged when it came to the World Wide Web. He got someone to mentor him and coach him and train him and show him stuff. Or someone to mentor, coach, and train him in the accounting. It was actually that piece. The accounting piece of the business. He got someone to help him. And that person became a mentor to him in all things finance. So if someone as brilliant as that, as productive as that, could realize, I need a mentor in this field, of course we do. Everyone needs a mentor, a coach. Even John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell, who you probably know is called America's Leadership Guru, and full disclaimer, I'm in his team as a John Maxwell trainer, coach, and speaker. But John will be one of the first people to tell you, I get coached. John Wooden, I don't know if you know the great John Wooden, that was one of his influences. What about Tony Robbins? Jim Rohn was a massive influence. So you can't do it on your own, folks. You need someone to help you. It has nothing to do with, oh, I'm smart. Oh, I can plow through the guide. No. It's just someone to bounce stuff off of. So like I said, Curtis and Shri decided to do some, studying virtually. So whatever that looks like in your world, this last point, get help and hold yourself accountable. There are many different facets, right? Being on the right learning system, like I just said, being in the right mock exams, having the right coach and person to speak to you, that kind of thing. It's all very important. Speaking of which, a student of ours, the light bulb just came on. Someone sent an email, a question about a question on one of our quizzes. So I need to get back to you on that. I haven't forgotten you. It's just that it was in the far recesses of my mind. But now I remember. I'm going to get back to you. That student knows who she is. Okay? So anyway, get help. That's what your trainer, your coach should do. They should get questions and then they should be able to explain, to flesh them out, to help you. Okay? So at this point, folks, we have come to the end of what I had to share. I'm going to give you the summary of it. And while I'm doing that, if you have additional questions, areas that I can explain, please chat them in. All right? So, first point, be willing. Be willing to act now. Tomorrow, when I'm waking up at 5 a.m., I want you to be thinking, oh, Phil said he's waking up at 5. I'm going to wake up at 8, 9, whatever it is. Maybe waking up at 6 is the Willy Wonka golden ticket to your success. Because everyone in your house is still fast asleep and they're not going to be bothering you. Maybe that's it. Maybe waking up at 4. One of my students woke up at 4 to study. He's now PMP. Maybe that needs to be your strategy. Maybe shoving your family out of the house in a nice way into a car and saying, do you guys mind going on vacation somewhere? One of my students, Dana, out of Dalton, Georgia, one of those firms out there that is big on PMP. In fact, I trained so many of these folks. But Dana, one of my students, she just couldn't get it done. She told her family when it came to, I think it was July 4th or Memorial Day weekend, one of those. She told her husband and sons, hey, it'll be a nice time for you to visit Aunt Jane, whoever Aunt Jane is, or, not real name, but withheld to protect the innocent. But maybe now's a good time for you to go visit Aunt Jane. And out they went out of the door on a Friday. Do you know what she did? Saturday, Sunday, Monday to Monday morning, studying. Goes into the exam, 4 above target. She said, Phil, there was no way I would have done it. I was doing my MBA, doing all sorts of stuff. I needed just that time period without family in the way for me to be able to do what I needed to do. But she was willing to act now. That's why she took action. You need to be willing to act to take action. People who are not willing to act don't act. So be willing to act. Mindset thing, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then you'll do it. All right? So do things to propel your desire, like going somewhere to study, like making sure your surroundings are cleared, family members aren't around to hound you, that kind of stuff. Okay, point number 2. What was my second point? Bite-sized chunks. Break it down. Don't get discouraged. Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, and PMBOK Guide Awareness is definitely not built in a day. All right? So Agile is your friend. Break it down. Don't go crazy. Check your velocity. What was my velocity last week? Oh, my velocity was three knowledge areas, 3 processes a day. Some people's velocity at first is going to be one process a day. Some people's velocity is off the chain. It's ridiculous. They're mowing down 1 knowledge area a day. Hats off to them. And I'm talking about on their first try and they get it and they wipe the plate clean. It's all good. But you got to go in those bite-sized chunks and then be agile in your approach. Adjust based on your velocity, based on the burn down, so on and so forth. Okay? Observe your burn down. Okay, so break it down. Last but not least, get help and hold yourself accountable. Okay? So those are my 3 points for you today. Those of you who chatted in, I am going to be doing exactly what I promised I would do. But I don't see any further questions. So I think we've covered everything coverable, right? Any questions or comments or concerns that your friend Phil can right now help you out with? Because if there's anything I can help you out with, lending my 2 cents, I want to do it now. That's what this channel is all about. Right, Pimpy?
It seems so, and I can't stand that. I hate this section.
He hates the section where I ask the questions. Isn't that hilarious? Questions, guys. Questions, comments, concerns. Anything happened during the week that you got a question about in your real world project management, your real life project management, in your PMP prep? Tell me. Let me ask you a question. A lot of people have neglected this piece, but I'm beginning to suspect that through the passage of time, guys, on the exam, I think you're going to see a little bit more of this. Just maybe a little bit more. I think so. The Agile practice guide. I think some basic stuff there will begin to appear more on the PMP exam. That's my hunch, I think. I might be right, or I might be wrong. Okay, well, I need to go catch some sleep, guys, because tomorrow morning, like I told you, I'm going to be training the guys at Fort Lee, but it's going to be virtual. For those of you who don't know, I do virtual training courses. Go to pmsucceed.com. You can get some more information about that. Right now, our course is going on the 2nd week, so it's kind of late to join October. Someone put in the time and the effort and missed the first session, but she joined the 2nd session, so she's on the program now. If you're watching tonight and you have already been through a training course, but you would like to do a virtual course, I would be open to taking you in as one of the students. If you've read the PMBOK guide before, the cost of the course is $750, but wait, let me show you what comes with the course. You get this, you get the Project Management Audio Digest, which costs $175. You get that as part of the course. You get 3 months of access to a learning management system, which on its own costs $350. So you see it's all adding up, and then you get the live training, which on its own is really worth the $750. And then you get a copy of the Project Management Essentials book. So, some people, they offer you a $1,000 course and you don't even get this much. But we kind of made this $750 price available for people subscribing via YouTube and other areas, just so they could get a massive deal. So if you're one of those folks, you're thinking of joining a course where you've got an instructor that won't put you to sleep, you might want to go to pmsucceed.com, look into it. If you want to be in the training tomorrow morning, it is doable. If you've been for some training before, or if you feel you can do what it takes to catch up. Because there's nothing like a full live trainer taking you through the entire curriculum. There's nothing like it. Nothing. And I wish everyone went for such training, because a lot of failure would be dealt with right at the source by you having a great trainer and coach to help you. There she is. Shree's awake. I thought Shree would be taking a breather, but you see, she's such a great student. She's listening to what her buddy Phil is saying. See? So Shree, I appreciate you. You're one of my star students, and I know, hey, mark down this video. What's today? 10/19. Mark it down. Shree is going to be a PMP, and she's going to come back and drop some gold. I can predict it. I can, because I see her attitude in the class. I see how before I drop a question, she's given me the correct answer. So Shree, I appreciate you. You're one of my sharpshooters, my top PMP gurus to be, and I know you're going to bring it. You're going to get certified. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, nice and early. Do you have any questions about tomorrow, Shri? So tomorrow we're going to do the rest of chapter 3, and we're going to do integration and scope. So it proves to be a very interesting session. I know you're going to come with your A game as usual, Shri. So yeah, what a pleasure. I had mentioned your name earlier, so I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if you were there waiting in the wings. Let me see if he's going to say anything naughty about me. I only have good things to say about you, Shri. So thank you for joining, everyone. I appreciate you. Remember, this is the channel for your PMP questions. If you get questions about project management, PMP prep, CAPM, RMP, SP, whatever, anything in the world of the PMI, do me a favor and chat them in. You probably got the email. I don't know if you did, but you might have gotten the email that said Mark, CEO of PMI, is shifting gears. So he's done the best he can as the CEO. In my opinion, he's held a flag flying. It's a tough job to lead going to over 1 million credential holders and people in an organization, because as it says, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. But hats off to Mark, and I wish Mark all the best in where he's going on his next venture. From the torch bearer before Mark to handing over to Mark, in my opinion, I think Mark did a really good job in being the face to the name, bringing in a lot of power brokers. During Mark's watch, Bill. Now, I know he's probably not the most famous person to some people, but hey, Bill came in and spoke to us. Not Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, that is. Spoke to the folks at the PMI convention. Malcolm Gladwell came in during Mark's watch, and a number of other really influential speakers. So yeah, he wanted the organization to grow, and the PMI has considerably grown. From when he came in, yeah, it was less than 500,000. Now it's going on 900,000. So that is growth, and things have happened, and some things that my friends in the world of let's just put it at another certification from the world of the PMI. My friends from that other world of my other certification, I know they may not have as equally nice things to say, but hey, I'm just keeping it real, and that's why I said uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. You can never satisfy everyone, and to be honest, you never really do everything 100% as good as people think you should, but nonetheless, hats off to him. So I'm being very diplomatic in my acknowledging of his great job. Okay, so those of you who don't go to the PMI website, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's so much stuff on PMI.org. Good Lord. I mean, I wish I could show it to you right now. I wish I could show you the multiplicity of stuff that many people are probably missing out on in the world of the PMI. Justin actually talked about some of this last week. Justin talked about how he used a lot of the white papers that are on the PMI website that give you an idea of real world project management and the application of it. He used some of those in his preparation. Have you guys checked out those white papers that explain? There's one called Communication, the Message is Clear. Let me see if I can send that to you guys. If it's available to non-members, I don't know if it is. That may be a good one to share with your team. Communications, the message is clear, PMI. If it's publicly available, it will come up. All right, so there's a link there. So let me share this with you. Oh, there it is. So let me just share this with you. This is one example, just one example of the white papers from the PMI. And there's a boatload of white papers. So share that with your PMO. Hey, and when you're sharing it with your PMO, share with them that your buddy Phil wants to train your PMO. All right, tell your PMO manager there's this crazy guy on YouTube called Phil that wants to train us. Let's see what happens from there. There's one more. There's another white paper from the PMI. My friends at NASA. So, oh, there we go. Building and sustaining a learning organization. There's a lot to learn from PMI's website, guys. Ton of stuff. See, I'm dropping gold. I can't help it. Anytime I come on here, I just want to drop some gold. Give you guys a greater awareness of our friends at the PMI. Okay, well, that's all for tonight. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Much to Pimpy's happiness, I'm going to call it a night. So thank you all very much, and I look forward to speaking to you again in another of these touch points. Someone says, Phil, when do you come online and when do you do these touch points? It is very, very adaptive. It's an adaptive life cycle at the moment. It's really based on my schedule, okay? So, like right now, I happen to come back to the office area, and I decided to hop into the office and just do a very quick one for you guys. So from me, it's good night, and from my lousy sidekick, go on, say something.
Good night. Don't study, it's a waste of time.
You always have to do that, don't you? Good night, folks. Ignore the miserable primate and have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now. Thank you, Robin, and thank you everyone who chatted in. And like I said, stay tuned to your email. The moment I hop off, I'm going to be shooting that thing to you. All right? Thank you and all the best.